Hello everybody and welcome to Against the Fence. This is your UFC 267 Aftermath show. It's back and we're going to take a look at all the events from this past weekend, and we're going to be having a look at the fighter rankings cards from UFC.com and deciding what's next for both winners and losers. Then lastly, we'll take a look at the social feed and see what came about all the events from the weekend and dive into some juicy goss. All right, so let's go into the quick recap then of all the events from the main card. First up, we had Magomed Ankalaev defeating Volkan Oezdemir via unanimous decision, with two judges scoring at 30-27. Then in the welterweight division, we had Khamzat Chimaev defeating Li Zhangliang via technical submission, and that was rear naked choke. Then, of course, we had Alexander Volkov in the heavyweight division defeating Marcin Tybura via decision, with two judges scoring at 30-27. Then in the lightweight division, right at the top, we had Islam Makhachev defeating Dan Hooker via submission. That was a Kimura in round number 1. Then the co-main event, the people's main event in some eyes, we had in the bantamweight division, Peter Yan defeating Corey Sanhagen via unanimous decision, with all three judges scoring it 49-46 in favour of the former champion. Then, of course, in the main event, we had Glover Teixeira, of 42 years old, defeating Jan Blachowicz via second round submission, rear naked choke, to be crowned the new light heavyweight champion of the division. So let's bring in the boys now. Boys!
Glover.
What a
He's doing it for the oldies. He's doing it for the oldies.
It, mate. What a legend.
100%.
I tell you what, that was such a moment, I tell you.
He's putting an answer to that riddle of, when is it too old? I mean, that's got to be a feather in the cap for most of those seniors in the division, I imagine. Someone like Tony Ferguson.
What an inspiration, mate, I tell you.
Yeah,
an inspiration.
100%. I just think of the things that I could be doing when I'm 42 now. Yeah,
yeah, it's impressive stuff. It's very impressive stuff. But all round great cards. We had some quick finishes. There was only probably two fights overall that just kind of longed out a little bit.
Yeah. What was your favorite fight? What was your favorite sort of?
Favorite fight was Corey Sanhagen versus Jan. That was my favorite fight. But just the moment of Glover tops the night off, I tell you.
Yeah,
it was a cherry on the cake, wasn't it? It was a nice ending. It was like a fairy tale, and it just sort of ended.
That's
well.
It, mate.
Yeah. I went for Jan for that fight. I thought he was going to do it, but I did say go ahead. It's a win-win for me. If Glover does it, I wouldn't even be disappointed. I only picked wrong of the night, and I was like, I wouldn't even care if I got it wrong. For that guy to do it, and I'm so glad he done it. Worked so hard, and such a genuine nice guy.
Yeah, let's go into some of the performances then. Obviously, straight up, we had Magomed Ankalaev picking apart Volkan Oezdemir for 3 rounds. He looked phenomenal. It was definitely a big test for him. It was just about right, We did sort of say at the weekend, those 2 fights against Ion Cutelaba kind of set him back a little bit in time.
That's true. He's slowly getting everything. I mean, people are not talking about him as much as they are Chimaev and Islam. But I tell you, he's a true contender, I tell you.
Yeah. I mean, he's knocking on the door now, without a doubt. He's next. The next step is ready for him, but we just got to decide on who that is now.
Shall we see how that division stacks up?
Yes. All right.
So here they line up in all their glory. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly been quite an exciting. I think it's quite an exciting division actually.
Ankalaev was ranked ahead of Oezdemir coming into this fight, with just 1 spot below. But and at the same time, when you look at Oezdemir and the guys that he's fought the top guys recently.
He has,
and he's definitely somebody you want to be beating in order to get in to sort of top 5 contention and fighting those guys there. So let's have a look then and talk about what is next for Ankalaev, because I know at the weekend we did talk about some potential options. We said Smith versus Rakic being they were going to fight down the line because they called each other out and they verbally agreed, but I don't think that fight's going to happen now, basically. From what I've read today.
I think the main key person that I mentioned at the weekend was Dominic Reyes.
Yes, you did. For what? For Ankalaev?
Yeah.
For me, I did hear that shout, but it was just a little bit too close. The guy's worked so hard, and I wanted to see him actually get a big leap into the top 5.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like he deserves a lot more, especially after the sort of streak he's been on. And he's been really impressive.
Yeah, he's barely seemed like there's a chink in his armor, really.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
And yeah, you've got to be knocking on top kind of guys. So if Anthony Smith is out and probably likely not going to fight Rakic, then I guess for Ankalaev could fight Rakic next.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, that's true.
Like on the weekend,
what about Thiago
on the
Santos?
weekend, it was when we thought it was going to be against Smith, didn't we?
Yes.
So the latest news. So
Anthony Smith apparently has staph infection, which I read on Twitter earlier.
Okay.
So I reckon that's
probably Rakic could be one, but then that's obviously you look at Rakic, he's number 3, and Ankalaev moving up. Ooh,
I mean,
it makes sense.
I tell you, it'd be a great fight.
To give anyone a jump like that, I will give it to that guy.
You get some certain fighters that like to sort of rush through the rankings, and you get certain fighters that want to take their time. In between, obviously, you mentioned Rakic. You've got Thiago Santos. What do you think about that matchup?
I like that. A powerful hitter in Thiago Santos. It's Thiago Santos is coming off of that Dominic Walker win, of course, which wasn't a headliner. Is Ankalaev versus Thiago Santos going to be a headliner? I mean, with Ankalaev coming off decisions, it's is it going to blow your hair back? Of course, I think it'd be a good fight. It'd be a fun one for sure. Despite the performance against Johnny Walker, I do think that Thiago Santos needs to bring a bit more fire into the octagon now. I'm not sure.
Wasn't it?
It was.
But
it was
to be fair, though,
fight.
he always does bring the fire, Santos. But I think Walker's one of them guys, one of them awkward sort of guys that do you know when you get in there with someone that you can't sort of employ your game? The fighter in front of you is just so awkward and things like that. They were both so hesitant to throw because they're both like, they're both knockout power like in one hit. So I think they were just both so hesitant But maybe Santos can fight someone else, and then maybe in the future them two could potentially match up.
Yeah, and Walker's quite a wild cat himself, so I can get your points there, absolutely.
Yeah.
What about Özdemir?
For Volkan Özdemir, then, I mean, we spoke about Johnny Walker, and he's someone else who's been sort of up and down really in the division, so that's the reason why that fight would kind of pair up
definitely
nicely for both. Johnny Walker and Thiago Santos was, only a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So the timing's kind of right. As for the Rakic pick for Ankalaev, is the timing kind of right? Because Rakic is probably due another fight.
Yeah.
So that's the only downfall
he's
for
itching
that.
to get back in there.
Yeah. So, and, is Ankalaev going to want to go straight back in there? I'd imagine so. He only had 2 fights this year, so I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of options, but
there is, to be fair, there is a really like the 3 options. Obviously, I know you like to come in with your picks. Most times you do the aftermath shows. You kind of technically got 3 options for Ankalaev, which is Dominic Reyes, Santos, and Rakic.
Yeah.
They're the kind of 3 sort of cats in the mix.
Looking for. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I would like Rakic, so I mean, like I said, I don't know. But I mean, I think that would be a good fight. That's a fight I would love to see. And out of the 3 of them, that's one I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I think Rakic would be very awkward as well for Ankalaev.
Yeah, he does throw a lot of leg kicks as well.
He does.
So
and maybe Ankalaev would be sort of, reaching towards his wrestling background a little bit in that fight.
That's true.
You
might see something different from him.
Same with the idea of the Santos fight. But let's go then back on to Volkan Özdemir, because I've got another option as well. Well, no, it would be a nice option, but I can't see him fighting someone like Paul Craig, because he must be currently due a fight at the moment as well.
Tell you what, that's a great fight. Özdemir versus Paul Craig. Great shout.
Yeah, I'd like it. I don't know. I think Paul Craig could very
He's in
well.
the pipeline real soon, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's due one, definitely.
Let's move on then to Khamzat Chimaev, man. I mean, the way that he just steamrolled through Li Zhengliang, picked him up, barely absorbed any strikes, chatting to Dana, screaming at him.
That's it.
Apparently, he even basically was screaming like, "I'll even fight Brock Lesnar. Give me him now, again, everybody." Whilst
holding him.
And that's how scary this guy is.
He is scary.
He literally is scary.
When you hold
scary
that picture there and you look at it and you see the expression on Lee's face as he's in Like, this is going on. It's insane. It's embarrassing as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit. And how many of you caught the commentary at the end of the fight, right? It's like, give me everybody. I'll have everybody. I'll kill everybody. It's a bit like, I mean, if you weren't scared, I was at home and I was scared.
Back when Conor had his beef with Khabib, the airport staff had to detain Hamzat because Hamzat was about to board a plane to Ireland to go and fuck up Conor.
Wow.
That's how much of a madman this guy is.
Yeah.
People they apparently detained him for a couple of hours, didn't feed him, and then, just let him go and was like, you can't.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, I reckon the narrative for this guy is just going to be like, people aren't going to want to fight him.
It's
I think he's going to find it hard to find a next fight.
A lot of people probably won't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we got some options. My first option is Neil Magny, which we're going to go into a little bit later on anyway, because there's a bit of a social element about that option. But in my opinion, would it mean that the UFC is feeding Magny to the wolves a little bit, giving him Chimaev?
Yeah, because he's got a ranked, like, he's up there as well.
He's up there, and he's lost to grapplers in the past. Michael Chiesa loves to grapple. RDA submitted him. Damian Maia submitted him. So, yeah, but we'll get into that. But that was obviously an option that we did discuss at the weekend. Yeah. My other option, which Dana is all for doing, is Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz.
Oh, yeah, but a lot of people wanted Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson, didn't they? A lot of people wanted that matchup, didn't they?
Because Nate did post a picture of Tony, so there's that fight. I mean, any Diaz fight gets people excited.
Yeah.
But it was spoken about at the weekend, but it kind of makes sense as well because Chimaev's stock is rising. Nate likes a big fight.
He does.
That's true.
And he has excellent jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
to go
that is true.
And here's another thing as well. Like, I think we need someone who can survive Chimaev, because
that is kind of true.
So far, no one's weathered that storm that comes in the first 3 minutes of a round, the first round even. And if there's a guy who can weather that, I think we'd all be like on the edge of our seats, completely hooked in to find out what happens next when you get past round one with this guy.
Yeah.
What happens next? Does he tire? What's his striking like? Does it fatigue? Does it get labored? There's so much data we don't actually have on this guy because he's just so quick. He's excited. He just gets in there, gets the job done, and gets the people amped. I got amped. Then I got scared. Very scared.
Is true.
It's got to be a co-main sort of main event sort of headline.
Could be a shout, mate.
Shot really. But would you see Chimaev get over confident in that fight a little bit, maybe, and maybe just
dangerous? Probably, because he's confident anyway.
He's confident. You can see he's sort of on cloud nine right now, and he's looking unstoppable. But he is. What if he just decides to just stand and trade with Nate?
I don't think he will though.
Well, who knows? The guy's a madman.
You're going to get me excited.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm predicting that he's going to get a bit ahead of himself, get to a certain point, get a bit ahead of himself, be a bit silly in the octagon, and it's going to cost him. And I think that'd be, a loss on his record.
Yeah.
And, that Nate Diaz fight could bring that out of him.
Yeah, it's true. You never know. He could sink in a sub or something. Yeah. Nate Diaz is crafty.
Nate is in losing streaks at the moment, right?
Yeah, I know.
But he's Nate Diaz. He's still capable of doing whatever.
And
pulling anything off.
And when you don't have a lot of UFC experience to lean on, and people are just falling down to the wayside at like the touch of your hands when you lay them on them, like you get this sort of this feeling of like, you're unstoppable and you're powerful, and it can be dangerous. It can work against you.
It can
in your complacency or in your sort of inability to pay attention or pay respect to the right people who deserve it.
That's what that's why you got to stay composed throughout your career.
Yeah.
And I guess on the flip side though, when we were watching Conor McGregor when he was on the rise before he got the title, we thought the same thing would happen to him, but it didn't. Until later on. But
that was more money.
And all the rest
there's
options, obviously.
You got
money was his downfall.
We got butted up for all other means.
Let's talk about Lee then. Li Zhengliang. Got one option for him. I'm not sure if we've spoken about it at the weekend. We might have done. Daniel Rodriguez.
Yeah, we said.
Yeah, I think we mentioned him. But that fight would be sick.
It would.
Let's say it now.
Yeah, and
that fight would be great.
And Daniel Rodriguez is on a 3-fight win streak as well. Yeah. He's looking to get up there. I think that makes sense. Really, I think it's one for Lee to get back on. Daniel Rodriguez to really truly test himself.
Yeah, I can't really think of much else because I think most of the people in and around him are booked.
Okay, so then let's move on then to Alexander Volkov. Now, 3-round decision against Marcin Tybura. He did have to fight off Tybura's takedowns, which, became more laboured as the fight went on. But, he effectively picked him apart, went to the body, caused Tybura to sort of tire himself and, won all 3 rounds.
It was a 100% takedown defense, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was really good.
I think it definitely was. Yeah, he didn't get him down.
Yeah.
Did
and
roll
that's just
up against the fence.
really demotivating for a wrestler who's just relentlessly trying to get that done as well. Takes a lot of energy.
Indeed, mate.
Yeah, I went for Tybura in the fight. I just thought he was going to get him down for some reason. I just twisted.
No, but that's it. He does have that kind of game plan that will do it because he weathered the storm of obviously his previous opponent before, obviously Volkov in Walt Harris.
Yes.
And Walt Harris had him hurt.
Yeah.
And he weathered the storm and then got him down. And you never know with Volkov. He could have weathered the... not that Volkov's... He has got knockout power, but like he's not got. I've not seen him have that one punch knockout power as most heavyweights do.
Yeah,
and
it takes a barrage of them.
It wasn't really exactly. It wasn't really a storm to sort of weather, and it was. Yeah, he tried to take him down, as Jordan mentioned, and as Si mentioned as well, he stuffed a lot of takedowns. Volkov.
Yeah, putting it like that, I certainly see why you would go for Tybura.
Yeah,
that power in the hands that can get the job done, get caught, and we've seen Volkov get knocked out before.
Yeah. Derek Lewis. Yeah,
exactly. He was winning that fight as well.
Yeah. But as for Alexander Volkov, then, next for him is kind of Jairzinho Rozenstruik, really. Someone
give me that fight now.
Someone he hasn't fought before, but is also very technical as well.
Could be sort of like another Alistair Overeem against Rozenstruik, sorry.
Yeah.
And Overeem was sort of picking apart Rozenstruik, and you could see Volkov pick apart Rozenstruik, and then, but then again with Rozenstruik, all it takes is one.
Yeah,
he has the legitimate one punch knockout power.
It's definitely a slow fight on paper.
Yes, he's very, very slow. Like get going. We saw it in the game fight as well. He's just very slow at getting going.
I'm so surprised.
Even in the Sakai fight as well.
True. Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say how surprised I am this hasn't happened already. I feel like something like this, they've been loudly plodding around each other in the same sort of the division for so long. I'm surprised this hasn't happened already.
I mean, like I said at the weekend, Volkov is now the most experienced guy at heavyweight.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
So, and it is quite shocking that the two
haven't to be fair, that matchup makes 100% sense, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think it's just it's been meaning to happen for a long time, and now here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it on
anticipated, no. But
I wouldn't put it a headliner, definitely not.
I'd put it in a pay-per-view main card. Again,
definitely.
But I wouldn't.
Yeah, like in the middle, like this one was.
yeah, no, precisely. Yeah. Okay, let's move on then to Marcin Tybura. I've actually only got one pick for this guy as well.
Yeah,
I'm going for Tai Tuivasa.
Ooh.
If he wins against Augusto Sakai, because he is booked against Augusto Sakai.
Yes, that's true.
It would be the power of Tuivasa against the grappler of Tybura. And part of me also, in a way, thinks they all quite look alike.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Because you might have been seeing my face. While you're reading the names like Sakai, Tybura, I'm like, what's the difference between these guys now? I'm trying to figure out how they sort of look different.
Yeah. I'm quite a little bit gutted. The last fight I tried to pick for Tuivasa because I went for Walt Harris. That fight did get booked, but then I think Tuivasa pulled out. The one. Someone pulled out, and I was quite gutted about that.
It's crazy because you think Tybura's beaten quite a few people in the mix that are there, and a lot of them are.
He's on an impressive streak. A very impressive.
He was on a 5-fight win streak, and that's what I mean. He's beating the who's who around him. And who do you kind of match him up with?
Well, that's it. Because Ivanov and Tom Aspinall are supposedly going to
be being. It's looking to be booked. That's a great fight.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously Chris Daukaus is fighting. I can't remember.
He's fighting Derek Lewis.
Oh, he's fighting Derek Lewis. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. and then Pavlovich is fighting Tanner Boza in December, so he's booked as well.
Ooh, okay. See what I mean? Everyone in and around Marcin Tybura is booked.
Yeah, it just depends on obviously timings of things, I guess.
It all depends on timing and who can beat who.
Yeah. And who drops out.
Yeah. And then let's move on to Islam Makhachev then in the lightweight division. How fast was it that he caught that kick of Hooker and put him down?
Oh. Frankie Edgar-esque.
It was just like the right hand he connected whilst chaining in that takedown. It just didn't take long, did it? Until he was down there wrapped him up, and that Kimura, that was it, man.
It's so impressive.
That was it as
This
well.
guy-
And like you mentioned on Fight Night, mate, a lot of people on Twitter were going for Dan Hooker. A lot of people.
Yeah, I think they wanted an upset. I
Did.
think some people probably feel for Hooker. Some people are quite fans of Hooker.
Yeah.
Who went for Dan Hooker?
No, we didn't.
No
we
one.
don't-
Oh, okay,
none of
we
us
went
lot.
out,
No,
okay.
we all went.
Tommy went for Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
Who have you got, JK? I know you're going to have a name.
I mean,
Give
it's
me
pretty
it.
obvious, really. We said it about the weekend. Benil Dariush is probably one that we most
feed me it now.
likely
Yeah.
want to see.
Give me it now.
Right?
That fight is insane.
And Dariush is definitely someone who, can contest him on the ground. I think that's what we kind of want to
He's
see.
got, this is what I'm saying. Dariush is kind of like the perfect kind of fighter. He's got a great stand-up, great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu. The guy it's crazy.
Yeah.
The guy is legit.
Yeah, on the ground, I think he's like first degree or second degree black belt as well.
But obviously, there's me saying that Dariush is legit. Obviously,
yeah.
Makhachev is legit as well.
I mean,
but that's why I'm saying that fight's fire.
But then, what would you expect then in that fight if that was to get paired up? How do you see it?
This is the thing that I mentioned at the weekend as well. Like the different people obviously compare Islam to Khabib. Islam Makhachev is so patient on the feet. That's what
that's what's kind of
I'm
dangerous,
scared
isn't
for
it?
him sometimes. That's why I'm scared for him sometimes because obviously I saw not his previous fight, the one against Thiago Moises. He was on the feet a lot against Thiago Moises, a lot. He was so patient with it. But that's what I'm saying with Islam. He's so confident in his striking that someone like Dariush could capitalize on that.
If I could describe him, it'll be silent but violent. He's dangerous. He doesn't sort of speak too much. He doesn't speak out too much. He doesn't have that sort of trash talk either. Quite humble in his approach and stuff. But he is a very lethal fighter, and I think a lot of people do step into the octagon and underestimate him.
Yeah, I think the difference between him and Khabib is the fact that he's more patient. If you're standing in front of him, you're constantly anticipating the takedown, right?
You're
like,
just waiting for it.
whatever move I make now, I could be on the floor. With Khabib, it was a little bit different. You got to stop this steamroller that was just constantly coming forward at you.
Yeah, that's exactly
and
it.
it was
and only
just
doing
pressure,
one
wasn't
thing.
it? Yeah, and only doing one thing. So,
and obviously Islam is not really forward pressure, and he doesn't mind standing there, bobbing and weaving in the middle. And obviously we saw that against Dan Hooker, but then, like you said at the start of this, the speed of catching that kick was insane.
Yeah. It was just so smooth, and the transition from standing to it's incredible. It really was. In terms of like a matchup for this guy, I mean, you said, of course, Benil Dariush. For me, I reckon, he barely got any damage done to him on the weekend at all. He can stand in potentially and get
potentially.
He can fast track. He can get a fast track straight to the top
never know.
just by being ready and saying that I'm in the sideline and waiting for something bad to happen to someone.
You could be right, unless
You could be right, mate.
Unless the UFC have already planned that for Benil Dariush as to stand in for the lightweight title fight. I'm not 100% sure on.
I think Benil Dariush. I don't know. I didn't know I was going to see him this year. I don't think I was going to see him.
Yeah, but that's the kind of only sort of matchup that will make sense for Islam, because obviously you've obviously got Gaethje and Chandler fighting at the weekend. Obviously, we could fight the winner of that. You never know, or even a loser. I don't think you'd fight the loser. I think you'd fight the winner.
Okay, really? But then on the flip side, the winner of Chandler versus Gaethje, if Gaethje wins, then surely he's next in line for the lightweight title.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
but then again, if Poirier wins, would they want to do that again? But then again, I know he would sort of deservingly get there because of obviously beating someone like Chandler. True.
Yeah.
It just all depends. What you know, the UFC's one of them, the matchmakers. You know something can go on, and obviously Islam could potentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah. So the loser of Chandler versus Gaethje was my second option for Makhachev. Really.
Yeah. But Dariush, mate, give it to me now.
Yeah, I'm all for it, and I think it would definitely go to a decision. Bit of a toss-up, really. I'd probably favour Islam, unless obviously Dariush able to get him in. Some kind of choke. Maybe if Islam makes the wrong move on the ground, because Dariush is capable of that.
And I know you've got a good pick for Dan Hooker. I'm waiting for it.
Well. I think we spoke about this as well. We said Rafael dos Anjos. For Dan Hooker, it'll be a seasoned vet who will stand and trade with him. He wouldn't necessarily have to worry about the takedown. Although, we know RDA's got great grappling credentials as well, but he does favour to sort of stand and trade. And for Hooker, it would be a win against the former champion. And in some ways, Hooker would need that kind of confidence. It would be the best confidence for him to again come back again with a win against a former champion. So
definitely a great matchup. Another one that was kind of sort of silently mentioned was Gregor Gillespie, but like you said, I think I prefer the RDA one because obviously he was the one that was meant to be fighting Makhachev. So
no, precisely, and obviously now Makhachev is jumped well up there now. Okay, let's move on then to that co-main event. Peter Yan, who started out like we thought he was going to start out. He was very patient. Read Corey a little bit there and, went to work in the later rounds, to be honest. Did some spinning shit.
Yeah.
Did a few spinning shit. Spinning wheel kicks.
I love that.
Like,
that was a lot of spinning
flawless performance nonetheless.
Oh, he's spinning now, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he just looks like you just can't beat him. He's
barely
any chinks in his armor again.
Crazy, like... When we were breaking the fight down, I was thinking, I said from sort of day one that Corey Sanhagen could be champion one day just because of the way he moves, the amount he throws.
Yeah.
And obviously I was so torn between both of them because I mentioned Peter Yan is so technical. He's so he's impressed me from his rise, but he impressed me so much even more. He jumped the level against Corey Sanhagen. He was so good. That left hand was fire. The guy is really crazy, man.
And we do the people's picks, and we often look at the different sort of strength advantages with each of these guys when they sort of match up. And personally, I think with this guy, uniquely, I think he's got this sort of rawness or this toughness, which beats a lot of his opponents that stand opposite him in the octagon. And it's almost like that sort of unquantified thing he's got to his game, which he's able to pull on and draw on. Because in the first round he takes it quite easy. He's not the dominator. He's
perfectly reading his opponent.
Exactly. He's doing his reading. He's getting his reads. He's starting to work out
so good
strategy.
at doing it as well.
Yeah. And as the opponents come into the octagon with a strategy, it's almost like he doesn't come in with a strategy, but he adapts, he reads, and he formulates a strategy, and he sticks to it, and he just sees it to the end. And while everyone else just goes out the window.
It's like he comes. It's like he comes in knowing that he's going to lose the first round.
Yeah, he's like, and he's okay with that.
And he's fine with it.
He's okay with that.
Yeah.
Not fake.
Because he's going to win the war. Lose the battle, but he's going to win the war.
Exactly. But he impressed me so much. Not that he's impressed me in the first place. Mate, fucking Peter Yan, man, I tell you, crazy.
Something.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty obvious what's next for him, really. We want that Aljamain Sterling fight. Yeah. He was winning that fight up until he stupidly threw that illegal knee. It's a no-brainer. It's a story that's unwritten in that fight. Yeah. He's going to wipe the floor with Aljo again, really. And I think he's going to get back on top.
Defeating Corey Sanhagen the way he did. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I can't see him losing to Aljo unless Aljo.
Nor can I.
Unless Aljo
can hold him down for 5 rounds.
Yeah, or pulls something off. Like but then that would be Peter Yan making the wrong move, the wrong step. Zigged when he should have zagged and getting caught in a guillotine, for example.
Yeah. But then again, there's me saying I'm so confident on it. Like, remember the first round that Aljamain come out the blocks. He came throwing at the blocks, and I was kind of worried for Peter Yan. I was like, "Oh shit!"
As we always are in any first round with Peter Yan.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. He started off so slow. Aljamain started off so quick. Then Sterling tired. Peter Yan just grew.
Yeah, but even more to that particular fight, I'm watching it through. I thought the opportunities that Yan was stealing weren't necessarily ones that he created. They were ones that were just through lack from Aljo. Mistakes that Aljo had made, and he just capitalized on them. And I mean, if does it look the same if Aljo comes into this making far less mistakes?
Yeah. The one thing that makes me excited about that fight now would be knowing that Aljo is going to come in second time around with better cardio.
Yes, that's true. That's the only thing that he sort of lacked.
Yeah. Because in that sort of fatigue, sloppiness slipped in.
Yeah, exactly. Slow punches and not had your hands up, and
and
survival mode kicks in.
Exactly. Yeah.
But as for Corey Sanhagen, then winner of Aldo versus Font, maybe because we've also got TJ Dillashaw waiting in the wings as well.
Yeah, that's true.
After the Yan thingy fight, so Corey may have to take the winner of that. probably a steep option though at the same time, because Corey has lost 2 in a row now, and maybe could do with someone a little bit further down the line.
Yeah.
So I think we did speak the winner of Cruz versus Munoz. If Cruz wins, for example, he'll definitely want to get back up there.
Oh, don't start with the footwork in that fight. Oh,
you were not ready for it, mate. We're not ready for it. But
Dominic Cruz versus Corey. Oh my God.
Yeah, it is amazing. It is quite far down, Cruz.
Yeah, it's true. Again, it's one of the divisions where a lot is happening. Like we've been here before, where we've been discussing matchups. A lot is happening. Like you said, TJ's out injured, but TJ's definitely next in line after obviously Peter Yan and Sterling do go to war. You've obviously, as you just mentioned, Font versus Aldo. Dish Philly, maybe?
Well, yeah, I was about to say that as well. If maybe you don't
that
think
guy
so?
is a fucking tank, man.
For Corey, if I'm Corey, I'm like, no.
Yeah,
not that guy.
That guy is seriously. He's,
But that guy.
literally, he's going to do Chimaev. Dish Philly is going to pick up Corey Sanhagen and start shouting at Dana.
He's going to beat Sanhagen with Jose and Font in either hand.
Yeah. Clubbing them, basically.
Yeah.
With number 4 and number 3 in the division.
All right,
Nice.
so let's move on then to the main event. Glover Teixeira defeating Jan Blachowicz, second round submission. He got him down in the first round. He kept him down in the first round.
Yeah.
Really worked that can opener. Then in the early start of the second, it started to look like Jan was getting in his groove a little bit, and landing the shots on Glover.
Yeah.
But, Glover still,
Glover being Glover.
They exchanged, I think, was it left hooks
We
at one point, didn't they?
love Glover.
Glover wobbled Jan with the left hook. Got him up against the fence, obviously. We saw a cheeky little uppercut from Jan.
Yeah.
But then Glover being cheeky, what he does, grabs the foot, and bosh, you're back down, mate.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you hit Glover and he feels, he seems vulnerable or wobbled or weakened.
He just switches him on.
Yeah, I know. In fact, you said it so perfectly. That's it. Like, it's a bit like you should be afraid at that point. You've hurt him. Okay, it gets worse now. It gets worse.
As soon as he got into mount, that was it. Like,
That was it.
Knew
That was
what was
it.
coming.
Yeah.
There's no way you're getting him off you.
Made it look so easy, though, didn't it?
I
To be
know.
honest, he did honestly make it look so easy. And Polish power? What?
Yeah.
It
Nullified it.
Yeah, it doesn't transcend when you're lying down.
No.
That's
It
it, mate.
doesn't. It doesn't.
But I mean, for what's next for Glover, that one's pretty obvious as well, because Yuri was waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Clear as day.
Oh,
Would
hey.
If I was Glover, I'd be like, I'll take my retirement now.
Yeah. Can I take 2 years off, please?
Yeah, absolutely. But for Yuri, then I think he would have to pick Glover apart at range, really, and be.
Yes, and that's the thing. I think he will do it at range. He's so good at doing it at range. His awkward sort of movement as well.
Yeah, he would lead to kind of come in there with a little bit of a less wild approach, unless he hurts Glover, of course.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I just don't. With a high stakes fight, I think you need to be cautious, especially against someone like Glover. And Glover's going to come forward and look to trade himself.
Yeah, and the way that Yuri swings, he's got such long arms.
Yes,
and
that's the problem.
That's a big trail he's tracking from start to the very exit of his swing. And in that moment, of course, in that time span, that's a easy takedown for someone like Glover.
Yeah.
Glover's got to be patient himself as well, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He can take punches, but I will be scared for him to be on the receiving end of whatever that.
And Glover needs to get into range with his punches. He's not really got the longest of arms.
That's true.
Heavyweight.
That's true.
He has to get close.
So I think we're all looking forward to that fight.
All for that one, mate.
Whenever that will be, some point next year. March, April would be nice, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think Glover may take a little bit more time off.
If Glover's clever, he'll sort of make an interim sort of conversation happen first, and then hopefully that eliminates Yuri for him. So, but Yuri's just gonna be licking his lips, waiting still.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Yeah, we'll see. But then, as for Jan Blachowicz, then I was saying Jan could take some time off, really, and then fight Anthony Smith.
Because that was kind of mentioned, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, a little bit. Anthony Smith is okay. He's coming off of a win against Ryan Spann, which, all right, doesn't,
Yeah, but still a great matchup. Smith versus Jan, great fight.
Yeah, Smith looked phenomenal as well against Spann.
He's getting better and better. Like, he's one of them guys, it's crazy because he got to the title and then he went on a downer. Then he raises himself again. Then he loses the fight, but then he keeps getting up there again, if you know what I mean. But he's improving as well. Like, he's getting better and better with these fights, and I would love to see that fight. It's a great fight.
Yeah, he's a grinder, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you know, we'll touch upon some topics about Jan and the socials as well, because there's a few things to mention there.
Yeah,
of course, about where he fits now in the light heavyweight picture.
It's hard to say really what else I'd depict for him, to be fair, but it's not a lot of option. He's fought everyone else, hasn't he?
Yeah, but Anthony Smith and Jan haven't been paired before.
No.
It's kind of one to make sense. Obviously, like you said, he's fought Reyes, beat Reyes. Obviously, he's lost to Thiago Santos, got knocked out by him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's fought Ratic, right? Has he fought Ratic? But obviously, I know we paired Ratic up with Ankalaev, but
yeah, we good. But I mean,
you just
one
don't
thing
know.
that certainly happened is Yuri in the division has just gone woof, and as Glover, he's literally just like, thank goodness I didn't have to fight that guy.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's fought Rakic. That's also another option, I guess, for him as well.
That's a great, Ratic or Smith, but then it just all depends what plans out.
Yeah, no, precisely.
Both great matchups.
All right, so that's basically concludes all of the events from the weekend, or the main card anyways, in particular. Let's move on now to some social bits, shall we? What's been going on Twitter and all that nonsense after the event?
A lot, Jordan.
Post-event.
Let's just say a lot. You got a story for us,
A
Ash?
lot has been happening. Yeah, I'll give you one, mate, I tell you. So, if you're aware of the beef that's been going around, obviously a lot of people have been, Corey Anderson has been having a little bit of beef with Bolovic, because them two have been at it on Twitter before the fight.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
And them two were 1-on-1. Corey Anderson and Joanne Bolovic, and them two were at it, posting pictures of each other. And Johnny Bones Jones, straight after obviously Jan lost, posted on his social media on Twitter, said, "See what happens when you're talking shit and not focusing on your opponent right in front of you. Another one bites the dust." So obviously John Jones is sort of instigating. Obviously he's still the king at light heavyweight, and just saying you should focus on your opponent instead of acting on like social media and things.
It's funny that you've brought this up, because he's done that before. If you remember, before Jan beat Reyes, he did exactly the same thing to Reyes when Jan beat Reyes, because Reyes was obviously talking a lot about John Jones, and at the time was saying he clearly thought that he beat John, and then John had a pop at him after he lost to Blachowicz. So you know, it's just Jones being Jones, isn't it? He's kind of, you know, he does similar things.
He's just trying to get in there, if you know what I mean. He's just trying to get his name out there, and obviously it has, because we're talking about it. But like that's exactly it, mate. Trying to stay relevant, because he's not had a fight at heavyweight, and I think he's just trying to instigate that he's still like the light heavyweight king, and just just trying to get his name.
Part of me at this
again.
point is a bit like, oh, what's that, Jones? Are you coming back? No, okay, then be quiet.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, when aren't you going up to heavyweight? When's your heavyweight fight?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Get a fight, mate.
Exactly. At this point, it's a bit like, you know, if you're going to join the party, join the party. But if not, then you know,
he picks his moments to swing back in, and you know, Conor does the same. When the fight goes on at lightweight, you know, once that happens, he's in there straight away. Yeah, and Jones doing exactly the same again. But mate, you know, all right, it might be perfect timing now. Do you think people are, you know, forgotten about the fact that you've hit your wife and things like that?
Exactly.
Still going on. It's a bit of a ballsy move to come out, in my opinion. Yeah. Whilst that's still a bit.
The UFC still decorate him though. They do still decorate him and give him the airtime when he chimes in. But
again, please do put your thoughts down in the comments.
Yeah, what do you think about it?
Any of the? What do you think Jones should just stay out of this light heavyweight division? Always piping up. Just give us your thoughts on it.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I've got a headline for you.
Go on. What's that?
All right. So basically, on the fight card this weekend, we had a little bit of a toss up on the prelims card, didn't we? So
okay.
I mean, you was watching this, wasn't you, Ash? So you tuned straight on.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So basically, we had this ref, and let's see his name. I'm going to try and pronounce it the best way I can.
Oh, it's a hard one, mate.
It's Vyashevlav Kiselev.
Now this, I like it. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know.
That sounds Russian.
Yeah, you don't know if it's right or not.
It is Russian.
You will not know if I said it right or not. But, okay.
No, you've done well, mate.
But in any case, yeah, he basically had been reffing the fight that happened on the fight card, and he got suspended after it. He got removed from the Volkov fight because the fight had gone on. It was so bloody. He hadn't stopped it. He failed to stop the fight on multiple occasions. The referees are expressing their discontent about it. You got Mark down as well. He was completely.
Yeah, Mark Goddard, he was going crazy.
He was going mad.
Mate.
It was he couldn't believe it. And the referee all the while just sort of watched the fight went on, blooded and all, and the guy was getting rocked on his feet. Now, and look, at the same time, I feel like it's always a difficult thing to do, isn't it, in that particular situation? He's not gone down. He's still standing. He's throwing fists. He's answering back. But you're a fighter. That's what you do. Even in the worst of times, you have to throw something back. You try to stand. It's survival.
Yeah.
But either way, it's it get pretty bad for him. What happened was, of course, he had got moved from that fight first and foremost. But then, of course, he got suspended.
Did you actually see it then?
I read about it.
Yeah,
I read about it. We were getting ready when it was
happening. Because Santos was the one that was I can't remember the opponent's name, French guy. He took a point as well to Santos. He took a point to Santos from his first. He didn't no warning. His first foul, no warning, nothing. Just took a point as well. So everyone in this game is allowed. Obviously, it happens. An eye poke, accidental, low blow. It's accidental. No, it was an accidental low blow, and the ref took a point.
Suspect.
Like, it's crazy.
I think
crazy.
I think he had a couple of grand on the other guy.
Yeah, surely he must have, innit? He must have, because you need. If everyone's watching this, you need to go back and watch the fight. It is I can't remember. The Santos versus you said. We'll have to get the second. Let's get it up.
Yeah.
Let's get this
up. And then of course, Dana's henchman dragged him out, took him outside, and shot him in the head.
Yeah. Hezbollah
dragged him outside and shot him in the head.
Zaleski, Dos Santos, and Benoit St. Denis.
Yeah, that's the one, mate. Yeah, that's it. And he took a point of Santos, and crazy. No warning, no nothing. Obviously, they're all fighting. Like, accidents happen, eye pokes or low blows. Everyone's allowed a warning, surely. Yeah. He didn't get no warning, no nothing, just took a point straight away.
It was this guy's debut, wasn't it? This Benoit guy, the French
Yes,
guy.
it was, To be fair, the guy was so tough as well. To be fair, he did take a lot of damage. The ref should have stopped it, as you said. But the guy, the fighter in him, he was still fighting back.
He's a tough guy. He's actually an ex-military.
He was laboured strikes.
Ex-military in France, So, I mean, you got the Marines over in the US. He's actually a bit more decorated than the Marines would be over in France.
So, bring on to the next one that we did kind of mention when we was talking about Chimaev in the welterweight division. Neil Magny, after the fight, late evening on Sunday evening, was on MMA Junkie, and he was talking about saying that he could be the one to. He thinks that he could drag Chimaev into the deep waters and beat him.
That's a bold call.
Now, come on now.
I don't know. I think he's been a bit overconfident in this.
Stupid. The word you're looking for is stupid.
Stupid.
I think he's been a bit stupid.
I just can't. Yeah, I can't see it now.
I can't see it.
To be fair,
I can't see it.
To be fair to him, he is very tall and very long for the division.
He's very awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's awkward. He's going to smother you against the cage and things like that. But someone like Chimaev, man, he's been used to wrestling people a lot heavier than Magny. So, and like I said, Magny has been, submitted in the past to losing to grapplers. So, I think it'd be Chimaev all over again. I think it's a perfect step for him, to be honest. And like I said,
it's true.
It'd be the UFC throwing Magny to the wolves.
Yeah, exactly. Again, please to put your thoughts in it. See what you think. Do you reckon Neil Magny could stand a chance against someone like Chimaev, and even coming out with that bold statement saying that he could drag Chimaev into deep waters? I think it's the other way around, mate. Chimaev's going to drag you into deep waters.
I still get very frustrated about the fight between Magny and Chiesa at the beginning of the year. watching that and saying, what are you doing? You're supposed to have a black belt.
Yes.
No, you don't.
So frustrating.
And the same with the Jeff Neal fight as well. You marry the two up. You look at the two performances and you're like, well, I guess you deserve to be thrown into the Chimaev pool.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I was like, let him have it. He's caused on his own demise with his own mouth and what he's been saying. So let it happen.
We want to see Chimaev climb up the ladder. I think
Yeah.
Magny's the perfect opponent.
He's the perfect stepping stone to do it.
Sacrifice. I'll sacrifice him.
Yeah.
All right, what we got next?
So obviously we spoke about it a little bit between obviously what's next for Peter Yan. Obviously, Aljamain Sterling was straight away tweeting when Yan won, saying, "Yan, you won a beautiful fight. I've had my surgery. Let me get a little. Let me have a little bit more time. I'm aiming for January or February, and let me give you guys." Let me give the fans what they wanted to see and what they deserve to see. Obviously, me versus you.
Somehow,
right?
Doesn't really sound like a champion, does he?
I had to be honest. No. I bet it's not going to be January, February.
No, it's going to be January, February 2024.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to get stripped.
I don't think he's scared to fight. Yeah, he has a lot to prove, and there is a lot of weight on his shoulders for sure, and arguably so. But that's now got to motivate you, and you've got to go out there and be the absolute best Aljamain Sterling there could possibly be, and try and submit, because that's where he's going to beat Peter Yan. If there is a chance for him to beat Peter, it's going to be on the ground. He submitted Corey Sanhagen in the first round.
Yeah, that's true.
So you got to go out there, use your jiu-jitsu now, and prove everybody wrong, mate. Yeah. If I was Aljamain Sterling and I tapped Peter Yan in the first round, I'd be going into that crowd and pissing on everyone, mate.
Yeah.
Including Dana. Like, you doubted me as well, mate. Have a load of that. So, but yeah, that's my
opinion. That's the way to do it. That would be 100% the way to do it. But is it going to happen that way? I doubt it. But do I have some news for you? So basically, talking about top of the division and champions, right? So we had on this weekend a spectacular performance from Islam Makhachev, as you remember. Now, he's been coming out saying that he's ready for a title shot after his first round finish against Dan Hooker, and it was a spectacular finish. And to make such ease of someone who's seemed to be such a great fighter in the top end of the division. It does speak absolutely volumes. So he's been shaking up the division quite a bit by saying a few conversations. He's been saying a few things too about how boring he fought. And this is quite a decorated division, of course. But he thought it'd be boring for the Gaethje Chandler thing to happen. Like, these guys have had a shot at the title already before.
Oh, mate, that fight's going to be fire, man.
You need more fresh blood coming in. Let me have it. And like I said, the guy doesn't really speak up much. He doesn't really trash talk.
No, he doesn't. No, he's been mentioned saying he's very quiet.
He's been encouraged to more and more these days.
When he wins, it's what I mean. He does need to talk about, like some people do, obviously like to talk after the fight. Yeah. He's one of them that doesn't talk, but I think the title shot's just too much, just a little bit ahead of him. Obviously, like we mentioned. The perfect sort of stepping stone for him to get to that title would be Beneil Dariush.
It's the perfect time to start talking about it, though.
Not
to say it's going to happen straight away, but this is when you start the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, Hooker is 100% is probably his biggest win to date. He's beat some good guys. He's beat, Thiago Moises, who's really good on the feet, of course. He beat Drew Dober earlier on this year and looked pretty good in that one. So, but they're not the cream of the crop, and now he's entering that cream of the crop sort of level now, and he does need to take out a guy like a Chandler, a Tony Ferguson, for example, who was titled fight at one point.
Point well said, but you can't sort of almost pat down a 9-fight win streak as impressive as it is. Of course, and it's such an impressive win streak.
But how long was Tony Ferguson's streak before he was even scheduled to fight for the lightweight belt? Do you remember, Ash?
Wow. Yes. Yeah. So next one we've got Jan Blachowicz straight away come out and said when he come out and said after his loss, saying, I don't have a chance for the rematch. Now I need to prove that I have what it takes to come back and win a couple of fights and then reclaim my belt.
Wow. So he's actually taken quite the humble approach, really. Really? I think he's been quite, in some ways, hard on himself. He said, well, look, I undoubtedly not happy with my performance, so I want to move myself down a peg a bit and work my way back up. And I think that's really that shows that Jan's real character there. And I think some of the options that we did give him were quite
oh yeah, definitely good options that we gave him when we were speaking. Yeah, I agree.
And good options where you could win maybe the next two and then go into another title shot.
That's it,
so
mate.
yeah, I my hat's off to him for coming out and saying that, and he's clearly been so hard on himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, because a lot of fighters that look, well, if they lose the belt, they think, oh, you know what? One fight, if I win one more fight, I think I can get back up there. A lot of fighters think that.
A lot of fighters think, rematch me now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Either rematch or I'll win one fight and I'll get back at the title. But obviously, if Bolovic wants to take it easy, take it slow, and properly do it, then that's perfectly done in my eyes.
Yeah, it's kind of like an old school approach, really. If you remember, like back in the day, it was like,
exactly.
if you lost your title fight, you had to
you're back down to the pecking order,
really work your way back up.
That's it.
And this is during a time where there weren't really rankings.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had to string those wins back up to get another shot.
I think it was right in terms of his performance. I wasn't really happy with his performance either. I've seen him do far more, and I wasn't.
Definitely. Yeah.
The whole entire time of that fight, it was just like waiting to find out when he's going to start.
Yeah, when he was going to.
when
he's going to get going.
And I just didn't see Jan turn up for that particular fight, and I feel like he could have done far better than he did.
Yeah, I thought it'd be the one bang,
100%.
but we didn't see the one bang.
Yeah. He's a good fighter, though. He's got far more in him than what we saw.
Yeah, of course. All right, so that concludes the social segment then. All right, and that's basically all we've got time for here on ATF. This was your UFC 267 Aftermath show. Please do join us this weekend because we got another pay-per-view. We've got UFC 268, Kamaru Usman defending his belt against Colby Covington for the second time. So tune in for that. That's going to be a
let's go, Frankie.
Back-to-back card. We got Frankie Edgash, his boy, fighting, of course, Marlon Vera as well. And, there's going to be a lot of shits and giggles. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And if you've liked this Aftermath show, do whack the thumbs up on the video. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. We hope you enjoyed the show. And hit that subscribe button, of course.
100%.
Yes.
Look forward to seeing you guys next time.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.
Take care.